Kaliningrad is seen as one of Russia's biggest advantages, a small but powerful military base located between Poland and Lithuania. This Russian region holds weapons, missiles, and military bases, some of which may even carry nuclear warheads. Many experts warn that if a war ever breaks out between Russia and NATO, it could begin here. Kaliningrad may be small, but it's a highly strategic and sensitive location in Europe. Kaliningrad has long been a place where Russia projects its power to the West, sending a message of strength and dominance. The Kremlin has gone to great lengths to convince the world that its hold on Kaliningrad is stronger than ever, presenting it as a vital part of Russia's security. Multiple signals in official rhetoric suggest Moscow's hold is weakening. The Kremlin is losing control over one of its most important and strategically placed territories, and the truth is becoming harder to hide. Vladimir Putin's grip on Kaliningrad has been steadily weakening, and the Kremlin's attempts to maintain the narrative of strength are beginning to fall apart. Just a few months ago, the rhetoric coming out of Russia showed that they were trying to maintain control of Kaliningrad with the help of powerful statements from senior Russian officials, especially Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. For instance, Lavrov has repeatedly claimed that NATO is waging a war against Russia. His aggressive statements paint the West as the aggressor, accusing NATO and other Western countries of directly provoking Russia through military aid and sanctions against Ukraine. Lavrov's campaign of accusations began shortly after Russia's failed initial invasion of Ukraine in 2022. As Western support for Ukraine grew and the war began to stall, Lavrov's rhetoric shifted. In May 2022, Lavrov claimed that NATO had declared a total hybrid war against Russia, accusing the West of unleashing sanctions and providing military assistance to Ukraine. "We did everything to avoid a direct clash, but now that the challenge has been thrown down, we of course accept it," Lavrov said in May 2022 during a televised interview. By September 2025, at the G20 Ministerial at the UN, he repeated claims that NATO, the EU, and even the UN were in direct conflict with Russia. Analysts characterize this as a recurring narrative that frames Russia as the victim. But it's also a desperate attempt to create a justification for Russia's actions, presenting Russia as the eternal victim. In this narrative, Russia is being pushed into a war it didn't choose, and NATO is the instigator. But this narrative is not only false, it's becoming more and more transparent as time goes on. The truth is, Russia started this war. Putin's decision to invade Ukraine was the catalyst for the current global crisis. Yet Lavrov's statements suggest that NATO, rather than Russia, is the one responsible for starting a conflict. This constant blaming of NATO plays into a wider strategy, one that aims to project Russia's strength while masking the cracks in its position. According to Artem Dikarev, the host of the Russian Dude YouTube channel, Lavrov's words are not for NATO or the West. Instead, they are intended for the Russian people. The Kremlin is trying to convince its population that the West is a direct threat, to distract them from the reality of Russia's failing war efforts and the growing instability in Kaliningrad. Lavrov's words reflect a growing paranoia within the Kremlin. Russia is increasingly fearful of losing control over Kaliningrad, a territory that lies in the heart of Europe and has long been used as a tool of power projection. Kaliningrad is surrounded by NATO member states, and its isolation is growing. Since 2004, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia have joined NATO, followed by Finland in 2023 and Sweden in 2024, tightening the ring of alliance forces around Kaliningrad. The presence of NATO troops in nearby countries is worrying Moscow. Kaliningrad's geographic position leaves it exposed, a point frequently noted by officials and analysts, and the Kremlin's constant threats and rhetoric are part of a larger strategy to project power and maintain control over the region. The propaganda surrounding Kaliningrad works inside Russia, where a significant portion of the population is fed a controlled narrative by state-owned media. State TV remains dominant. Surveys report /2 to 3 rely on TV. 44% follow pro-government Telegram channels. 14% follow opposition. Independent surveys have found that state TV remains the main news source, and many Telegram users follow pro-government channels, shaping how Russians perceive NATO and the West. This means that the average Russian citizen is exposed to the Kremlin's version of reality, where NATO is portrayed as the enemy and Russia's actions are justified. This propaganda campaign has been effective at maintaining support for Putin, but it's starting to crack. Kaliningrad's residents, however, are not as easily swayed. People living in Kaliningrad have long had closer ties to Europe than to Russia. Kaliningrad has cultural and economic connections to its European neighbours. Kaliningrad's location has always made it more connected to Europe than Moscow. Many Kaliningrad residents regularly cross into Lithuania and Poland for shopping, work, and study. For many, these daily interactions with Europe have made them less likely to buy into the Kremlin's narrative. The situation in Kaliningrad is complicated. The region's isolation is becoming more pronounced, and Russia's control over it is slipping. In 2023, an unofficial referendum was held in Kaliningrad, where residents were asked whether they wanted the region to remain under Russian control or seek independence. An unofficial online poll in 2023 reported 72.1% for independence, with organisers citing approximately 95,000 responses, 20% of residents. It had no legal standing, and as an online poll, may not represent the whole population, though it was conducted online only and held no legal standing under Russian law. This referendum was conducted online because voting for independence is illegal under Russian law, but it still showed that a large portion of Kaliningrad's population no longer wants to be under Russian control. This growing discontent is not only the result of Kaliningrad's isolation, but also the impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The people of Kaliningrad, known as Baltic Russians, held protests in Poland against Putin's invasion of Ukraine. These protests, which took place on NATO soil, sent a powerful message about the desire for independence from Russia. The protests were a direct challenge to Russia's control over the region and highlighted the growing divide between Kaliningrad and Moscow. Life in Kaliningrad has worsened since Russia invaded Ukraine. Sanctions have choked trade, tourism has collapsed, and the local economy has stagnated. Prices are rising, and wages are staying the same. Kaliningrad's people are feeling the brunt of Russia's actions, and many are growing disillusioned with Moscow. Every time Lavrov speaks about defending Kaliningrad, the locals roll their eyes. They know they are the ones paying the price for Russia's policies. Russian officials have also singled out the militarization of Denmark's island of Bornholm, calling it part of an EU-NATO plan to tighten control over the Baltic. At the same time, Poland and the Baltic states have strengthened border defences, adding barriers, sensors, and units near the Suwalki Gap and along their frontiers. These moves are deterrent steps, not invasion plans. They are meant to limit Kaliningrad's ability to threaten neighbours and to keep supply lines open if Russia escalates. Together, they increase pressure on Moscow's position in the exclave while avoiding direct provocation. In response to this threat, Russia has taken several defensive measures, including building a large radar array in Kaliningrad. The radar, which is located just 25 kilometers from Poland's border, is meant to show NATO that Russia is watching. But according to Artem Dikarev, this radar is more about sending a message than actual military power. It's a symbol of insecurity, not strength. There was no widely publicized NATO response. Critics called it largely symbolic in response. Critics in turn called the array largely symbolic. NATO is not intimidated by Russia's attempts to project power. Instead, NATO continues to strengthen its defenses around Kaliningrad, preparing for the possibility that Russia could lose control of the exclave at any time. The situation in Kaliningrad is rapidly evolving. The region's energy supply is another issue that could contribute to Russia's loss of control. The Baltic states are in the process of disconnecting from Russia's power grid, which could complicate Kaliningrad's power supply unless alternative arrangements are made. This move will hurt Russia economically and make it even more difficult for Russia to maintain its hold on Kaliningrad. As the region becomes increasingly isolated, Russia's ability to defend it grows weaker. At the heart of Russia's fear is the possibility that NATO could take control of Kaliningrad with little resistance. In fact, a senior NATO commander, Chris Donahue, has suggested that Kaliningrad could be captured in a time frame that is unheard of, if necessary, underscoring the region's vulnerability. These words hit the Kremlin hard because they show how vulnerable Kaliningrad is. The reality is that Russia's hold on Kaliningrad is tenuous, and NATO is not the aggressor. NATO's actions are defensive, not offensive, and Russia's actions have only made Kaliningrad a target for NATO and the EU. In the end, Kaliningrad's fate may lie in the hands of its people. As Russia continues to lose control over the region, Kaliningrad's population may decide that it no longer wants to be part of Russia. The growing desire for independence and the increasing isolation of the region signal that Russia's grip on Kaliningrad may soon slip entirely. NATO and the EU are not seeking to invade Kaliningrad. They are simply preparing for the day Russia loses control. That day may be closer than anyone realizes.